So I'm just in the studio and I'm just making paper cranes. I'm sorry the angle's really bad because and I've got some tea. Maybe it's a bit hard for me to set this up at an angle that's worth anything. I'm a bit uninspired today, so I'm just going to be making some paper cranes. But if anyone happens to turn up, maybe you can distract me with questions. As long as, like, you know, I don't get insecure live streaming from somewhere I'm not as comfortable. Yeah, I don't know. The angle was better when it was just my camera settings and not YouTube's. YouTube's cropped it a little bit, I think. Oh well. Can't really show you much of what I'm doing then. Unless I move that box. I wonder if I should move it. Just like I've got all these cranes on top of that as well. Bear with me. Still trying to figure this out. Oh no. Oh no, they're all gonna fall off. Box of cranes. And oh, that's going to actually fall off the table unless I put something. Maybe that's better. Not really. It didn't really help very much, did it? That's another thing, is I don't have a tripod. Yeah, I'll just put these on the ground for now then. I suppose before I should, how do I turn it around? I'll show you some of the cranes that I've been working on. There's a lot of them. And then, yeah, more down there. So, start using what's going on. Alright. So this could be just like a quiet live stream. And then once I stop filling with the camera. Yeah. No, the zoom that YouTube's put on this is not great, but oh well. I'm sure this will be very boring. But that's okay. We're going to scare off a few people because that last video was just a little bit too popular. Sometimes I would listen to music. Maybe I will later, but for now, just folding paper cranes. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with them all once. I mean, the aim's 1,000, right? Not sure what I'm going to do with them all once it gets there. And yeah, I use scrap paper because you get funny patterns. Been doing it for ages. Some of you maybe even remember, but I had to throw out a bunch of paper cranes when I cleaned my room because they all got super dusty, like really badly dusty, and it was disgusting. And it was just impossible to clean them, so I threw them out. But I had some in that box. So I didn't have to start completely from scratch. But yeah, I've spent the last few weeks folding a lot of cranes, just on that one day a week that I come into the studio. I've also done a bit of painting, but I just don't particularly feel like I finished a painting, and yeah, struggling for a bit of inspiration, because I think one of the mistakes I'm making perhaps is that I'm trying to use all my old stuff and not buy too much new material. But I'm starting to think maybe if I come up with a concept and I have a few ideas, maybe I should just buy what I need for them rather than, you know, waiting until I finish all my old materials. You know, like, yeah, it's a fun challenge to try to use the old stuff that I have. But maybe that's holding me back because the stuff that I've got isn't really inspiring me. But I do feel kind of bad that, like, I've hoarded all this stuff and I'm not using it. So I don't know. I just don't have any particularly good ideas at the moment for what to do with them. Slept a bit better this week though, at least. But yeah, I'm going to try and spend a decent amount of time here. I've been here already maybe 3 hours. spend a few more hours, then I might go to the shops, and then go home, maybe do some editing, because I do have a thing to edit, which Patreon's already seen. Pretty cool stuff. And then, yeah, tomorrow I might work on some music. Pretty happy with how the music making went last week. Keen to hopefully finish the song at least to a basic level, then maybe move on to something else. And then plans for next week, not 100% sure, but Easter Monday complicates things with who's going to be home. So, I mean, over the past while, Monday has been when I've filmed things, but if everyone's home, I'm not going to be able to do that. So, I'm just enjoying watching people, you know, accidentally pop into the stream, and then they just see me like mumbling to myself, folding paper cranes, and then they disappear, and I'm like, yeah, that's the reaction I was going for. So we're doing a good thing here. I don't know, like the SPD videos, my channel's always been about, you know, talking about, hang on, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, I've actually got more than I needed, that's okay. Yeah, no, the SPD videos. My channel's always been, you know, talking about my mental health. Like, I think even my first video, maybe, I might have talked about my mental health. Definitely, like, the videos after that were the first time I went on antidepressants, so, and you know, that was more than 10 years ago. So this channel's always had to do with my mental health, but what bothers me at the moment is just because I have SPD, suddenly people are following me just for that, and I'm like, okay, but you know there's more to me than just my diagnosis, right? And like, I get it. I follow some channels because of, you know, topics I'm interested in. But like, those channels are about whatever it is. My channel's just about everything, and yeah, no, I don't know. Maybe it's because of what the SPD crowd is like. I don't know. Just, I mean, most of the people stay quiet, which is cool. But the comments I do get, the ones who do comment, I think every video there's been at least one that's like completely rubbed me the wrong way. I don't know. It's just something about it that bothers me. I don't think I've figured out how to articulate it yet, but it's a thing. Yeah, just something about the SPD crowd that I'm a bit like, oh, don't know. You know, I still want to be able to talk about myself, but I'm not sure that I'm keen on the crowd that I've attracted. Yeah, I don't know, it's kind of weird. Oh my god, someone's liked the video, but I can't actually see anyone watching the stream. Hang on, I better just check I haven't like missed comments. That, how do I do that again? Yeah, no, there's no comments yet in the chat. So I don't know who's liked the video. Also, I've got to keep an eye on my battery. Okay. That's probably another reason I might end the stream just randomly. Because I still have things to do before I go home and recharge the phone. The phone's got pretty good battery though, so we'll see how we go. Anyway, I've got to find one with a small... that one might be okay. Yeah, so I string up the... Ooh, that one's probably even better. I string them up in groups of 10. That's probably because it's a bit small. That's alright. And then, you know, I've got these little loops on the bottom, so it's easy to attach them together, like in bigger strings. Groups of 10, just because it's easy to count. I've been doing this like for ages. That I had about maybe somewhere between 200 and 400. It's a pretty big range to not know. Hey! Hi! Just folding some cranes and mumbling to myself. But yeah, I think before I had to throw them out, would have been at least 250, but up to maybe 400 paper cranes that I had to throw out. So it's a lot of time to sort of get the hang of how I want to do cranes. This is the system that works for me. As for what I'm going to do with them, I feel like I should kind of set them up in a way that, you know, I could take to a art gallery and be like, yeah, this is heaps artsy. But how I actually present them, I can easily think of ways to write about these in a way that would satisfy the art world, because they do use old paper that I kept rather than throwing in the bin. So, you know, I could easily make some kind of recycling spin, or yeah, like I could go the environmental route, or because it's like papers from just like things in my life, you know, some of them are audition lyrics, some of them are just things that were sent in the mail, like flyers that I just kept. So I could also go the personal history angle in terms of writing in that sort of art wanker way. Yeah, there's a lot of options for how I could present this conceptually to an art gallery, if I ever decide to, you know, do the whole exhibition thing. But how to hang these in an interesting way that won't be a pain in the butt to transport, because I do think about the practical side of that, I'm not sure yet. And whether, like, you know, if I go for the recycling route, then obviously I'd want to hang them from something, you know, that's not going to a waste tip, like, you know, something that I'm reusing. If I go personal history route, I don't know, I've got like a broken violin bow. What am I making them for? Just for no particular reason, just because like I've done it for ages and it's a thing to keep doing, and I had already started the project ages ago. Here's another group of 10, chuck them on the pile. And I think it's sort of an easy thing to do in the studio. You know, when I do reach that point of being uninspired, it's like every time I come in, pretty much I've made paper cranes since day one. Like, I've got a notebook that I draw some stuff in. I usually do a bit of painting in some form, and so like I'm still waiting for the thing to dry. That's why I can't keep working on the other thing. And I could grab out another piece of paper, or I've got big canvas and some other stuff that I could paint on, but I'm just not that inspired. Before you guys turned up, I was mumbling to myself about how I was trying to use up a lot of the materials that I already have rather than buying new stuff. Like, I should use everything I have first. But that's not really inspiring me, especially because like I'm down to a lot of the really garbage colors, and some of the tubes don't have much paint at all, so I can't really plan a lot with them. And I'm starting to think, oh, maybe that's holding me back. I guess because like I don't like to waste money, and I don't like to waste stuff, so I feel like I have to use it. A lot of it's really low quality paint though, because of well, partly trying not to waste money, but also I don't know, just because I was like a student not taking stuff seriously. I'm gonna make a big crane out of this one. This is what have I got here? This is a Punk Rave Australia, not exactly script, but like I make notes before I make Punk Rave Australia videos so that I remember what to do next. Although at this point I usually remember, but I just feel better if I have my list of notes. So that's what this is. Turn him into a big paper crane. I don't use scissors. I only use the scissors for cutting the little bits of wool that I string them up on. Maybe that's a bit of an old-fashioned Japanese thing. I kind of, yeah, so I fold it and then I just use my nails. I cut them the other day, but there's still a bit there. And you sort of slide them along, and then once you've made a decent crease, you just sort of split it up. Oh, sometimes it gets a bit dodgy, but you know, this is all waste paper, and then there you go. It's a square. Yeah. Oh, so that's the older one. Anyway. And then you just make the paper crane as normal. I try not to worry about them being too perfect. Maybe that's influenced by the way that my, you know, childhood origami book was, because I think to show the folds, they make the folds not look perfect. And so I thought, am I supposed to make them not look perfect? Because if you show me instructions, I'm inclined to take them seriously, you know? Anyway, so yeah, I don't really know what I'm going to do with them, but it's a project that I've been doing for a long time, very distractedly. And now that I've got a space to do all this stuff and not a lot of inspiration at present, I'm like, I might as well finish this project, whatever that turns into. So yeah, trying to decide. I mean, I would personally go for the personal history angle conceptually, because that's kind of more what it is to me, rather than the recycling route. But the art world is pretty like left-leaning, so like if I was at uni, I probably definitely would work in the recycling angle. A bit like with my music project, I did the whole asexuality thing, because I knew that would go down well at uni. It was still like honest, but yeah, I perhaps cynically approached it as well. So yeah, like personal history, I don't know if I could work in the recycling angle alongside that. I don't know. Anyway, so another thing that I'm doing as I fold these is I'm not actually opening them until I'm ready to string up another group of 10. So let's make his head there. Just leave them like that, put them in the pile. Oh, there's big ones. It's hard to find enough space for. Yeah. Whoops. Just gonna. It's been so long since how do I find oh, there we go. I don't know how much I've live streamed on this particular phone, so just making sure I don't miss comments. Anyway, so now we've got the end bit. We can make some more squares out of that. Get some little baby ones. So it's the same basic thing. Ta-da, another square. Yeah, I wish the comments would like stay on the screen, just because like when I look away, I don't know if I'm missing stuff. I suppose it doesn't matter because this wasn't meant to be a particularly high quality stream or anything. It's just like, I don't know. I'm feeling uninspired enough that I was like, maybe I should just go home. But no, determined to do the thing and be here. So I was like, yeah, okay, I might live stream. And yeah, so then when I go home, I'll post on Patreon some of the things that I've done today. Because yeah, I finished a painting that they've been watching me do. And also the other thing in progress that still hasn't dried as far as I can. Yeah, I don't think that's dried, and even when it does, it's probably going to be all goopy, so I can't really do much work on that. Yeah. No, Patreon's been good to help me like stay focused. That's what I started the Patreon for in the first place, I think. I think I launched my Patreon by accident because like I was trying to see a preview, and then I was like, well, let's just run with it. But yeah, one of the things it's been good for is just making sure I have something every month to show people, because it's all about like extra content. This one goes up here. I've got a few different sizes of cranes at the moment. All right, now the last bit I've got to decide. I decide based on where the text is, because you know I want to try and get as much pattern on. So I'll do this one from here, that way. So like, then I try and leave the part that like has almost nothing on it. I just toss that. You could make tinier and tinier paper cranes, but there's a point where it's just too tiny. And then, yeah, it's not really fun to fold the really, really tiny ones. There's probably some buried under here that are like, as tiny as I want to go for this project. Like I've gone tinier, and I'm not into it. But yeah, so see, I managed to get one completely white in the bin, while this one has patterns. with all the notes about things I need to remember in my Punk Rave Australia videos. And yeah, still don't know when the next one's going to come out. But you know, with Easter, probably shouldn't send them a message because like they'll be on holiday. And then yeah, I don't know. Maybe the situation in China has held some of that up as well. So things are pretty bad there. The world's gone a bit nuts, isn't it? You know, like more nuts than it has in the previous years. It just keeps getting crazier and crazier. Oh well. Oh. Dear. How many of these do I have? Probably need a couple more. Wow. God, there's a lot of got some blank bits of paper in there which I might draw on later. But yeah, wow, that's another Punk Rave Australia from ages ago. Alright, make another big one. And then once I've made the full 10 of the big ones, I'm not going to make any this size again because like they're just going to be a little bit too much. Most of them are, you know, the smaller or in between sizes. So it's just in my box I had this guy already made, so I've got to make him some friends. Otherwise he'll be on his own after that. So, you know, I'm only doing that because Past Me started it. And then I'll just make the littler ones. Because, you know, I just think it looks better with the littler ones. You might be able to read a bit more on the big ones, but yeah, I don't know. Something I like about folding used paper is you can't quite read everything on it. You just get like hints of whatever was on that piece of paper. So the bigger it is, the less mysterious it is. Does that make sense? Then, yeah, so I've tried not to make any blank ones. So that big blank one was from the past. And there might be some others in this pile somewhere, you know, old ones. But, yeah, sometimes I try and, like, there's one where I showed them on Patreon. I can't show you the photos here, but yeah, I had colored in the squares with this crazy crayon stuff, and then I folded them. And then, you know, while I've been testing pens, I've been doing this. So I tested all my colored textures when I first started in the studio, just to see which ones to keep and which ones to throw out. So that's what all that is. And then these bits are from coloring in those squares that were blank. And so, I don't know, once this is a bit more full, I'll also turn this into squares and make cranes out of them, and then all this comes out on the paper crane's wings. So that's sort of how I do stuff. I know it doesn't look glamorous, like, you know, more traditional paper crane stuff. I do actually have some proper origami paper, but this, I don't know, this is just me. This is my way of doing it. After a while, my thumb gets a bit sore, so then I have to change the way that I'm pushing things down a bit as well. I gotta make sure I don't forget about my tea before it goes cold. Another one, and like, you know, so you can see things like fabric details, but you can't tell really what was going on there. And then like on the wings you get a little bit more, but like I like those bits of words peeking through. I can hear kookaburras outside. So we got 6 big ones now. Getting a bit hot actually. I'm just gonna keep an eye on. Okay, so the rate of battery going down is not too bad. I've just got to keep paying attention. Yeah, I think I need to do something about the music situation because I've been playing stuff off Bandcamp, but I don't have a whole lot of music in my Bandcamp account. I really don't like Spotify. So I was thinking like I could get a little CD player and just bring some CDs, listen to some actual albums instead of stuff completely shuffled. At least when, like, you know, people aren't here. You know, I don't want to play like heaps of metal if there's a lot of people around. Yeah, another CD player. Can you even get those? Where do I get that from? I wonder if JB Hi-Fi still has them. I know like CDs are nowhere near as popular as they used to be, but I still like them. And I really don't like Spotify. And yeah, I just don't have enough stuff on Bandcamp. I could load songs onto my phone, I suppose, because that's what I've been listening to stuff on anyway. Sounds not too bad as far as phones go. That'd be the cheapest solution than just buying a CD player. That would be the sensible thing. Half the time though, it's just like music playing in my head. You know, I don't even need CD player. Although the stuff that plays in my head is a bit repetitive. You know, you sort of get stuck on a loop. What else has been going on? When did I post that last video? Was that on March? No? Was it on Sunday? Yeah, Sunday's when everyone was out. Okay, well, so Monday I recorded another video, which I haven't even started editing, but I should. Because that's fun. I've already shown Patreon bits and pieces of it, but like, just, I was so tired that day. It was really hard to film. So I haven't watched the footage back, but hopefully I did an okay job. Yeah, I think towards the end I was getting a bit incoherent, but how many of these do we have now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10. Awesome. Let me just finish my tea. Alright, so we've got 10 of these guys. Probably still use the blue. I've been using these the wool for ages. They're really... I've got heaps more wool over there, but I'm just trying to finish off these ones, especially this stuff. It's like thin, and even when I was knitting, thin isn't fun. It takes too long. Yeah, so like you can see with the wings, shipping and also some scribble. And you just get like little hints of stuff going on. So that's me using recycled paper or old paper. That's the effect I'm going for. And so like these are pretty mundane, but you know, if there's some interesting lyrics on some of them, you get hints of that. Some of it's like advertising material, you get hints of that. Some of them are old receipts, so you get hints of whatever I was buying around that time. Yeah, kind of interesting personal history sort of thing. Maybe I was wishing for something when I started this project. Probably was, because, you know, I'm never really that happy in my life. And I think in the past I would have been a little bit more hopeful that something would change my life. And now I'm too jaded. Okay, probably need maybe that much. So, get another lot of these going. I don't know, I need to come up with some more ideas to do in the studio, apart from this. Just, it's so hard to be inspired. Especially, like, I feel like as I've gotten older, I haven't had as much to express as urgently as when I was younger. I wonder, though, if that's because social media is more developed compared to, you know, when I was younger. So I'm perhaps expressing more on social media. On the other hand, I do self-censor a lot more than I used to, I think, because I've lost anonymity. So you'd think if I'm censoring myself more online instead of just in my real life, like online as well, you'd think that maybe I would start having more to say. So I don't know, it's a bit of a paradox, that, I think. My God, that bird has been going off all day. That really, like, I don't know how much you can hear of outside, but like, that guy is loud. I almost feel like going and yelling at it. It is a nice day though. The rain's finally stopped in Sydney, or slowed down a lot. I think it might have rained overnight. But during the day, it's not too bad. Okay, one more. Got me a little tomato for all my needles, and then I think this is like a sharpener, which I've never used. Alright, there you go. Chuck them in the pile. Oh, the pile's getting a bit tall though, so it's starting to get a bit unwieldy. Let's see if I can find... Huh! I found one of my old live stream pieces of paper, so... And then on the back, what's that? Oh wow, there's a bit of a rat on the back of this as well. Must be about... Yeah, it sounds like it's about one of those guys who like tells you how to make money. And they get you to watch like some video that you can't skip through, and you have to finish watching the video to get to the next stage or something. I think that's like what this rant was about. I hope a meteor smashes into your rented penthouse, you wanker. Angry me is fun. I'm not sure, should I do the rant side or should I do the live stream side? I suppose with the rant side you can see bits and pieces of that live stream coming through, so maybe I'll do it rant side up. Although, so one thing I try to do is not have white space, right? And see on this end, on both sides, there's a lot of white space. So if I make the big square from this side onwards, then the little ones will have more patterning in it. So yeah, I'm gonna do from this way, but I think I'll still do it on the rant side, even though it's not gonna have most of the rant. The little cranes on this side will have the rant. I don't know if that makes sense. I don't know if any of you, yeah, no, you're very quiet today. That's okay. So yeah, do this way. Yeah, so like, you know, I've kept a lot of these bits of paper for quite some time. I just had a folder where they've been accumulating. Anyway, as for how I've been doing, so since Sunday, yeah, Monday was hard filming that video, the one that I've still got to edit. But that night I actually did sleep better. But I've been having a lot of weird dreams lately as well. But yeah, that night I slept better. I think one of the things that maybe helped me sleep is I took some Dimetapp, because I hadn't for a while, because, you know, my hay fever wasn't being as annoying, but yeah, on the Monday it was. And maybe taking the Dimetapp helped me sleep. And so maybe I shouldn't be avoiding it as much. Like I thought maybe, I don't know, maybe I was trying to avoid it because I was like, I shouldn't be taking this stuff all the time, you know, I don't want to have to rely on it. But, hang on, I'm just trying to decide what part I want on the wing. I think I want this part on the wing because it's got more of the rant. Although that one has the word bullshit. Okay, I'll keep that on the wing. So like, you know, I've sort of figured out which way to fold stuff so that, you know, certain things are more likely to end up visible. But yeah, no, like, trying not to take too much Dimetapp too often. Like, I only take small doses, but for a while I was taking it almost every night. And then I stopped. Maybe I couldn't sleep as well, partly because I wasn't taking it. I didn't take any last night, and I didn't sleep as well. So yeah, maybe I should take it like around dinner time, and that might help me get to bed earlier and also like stay asleep instead of waking up in the middle of the night. It's not like I went to bed early last night. I've been getting, I've had a few scammers try and come my way through different routes, and I don't know, I've been like posting on Facebook trying to warn people, and one of them I'm scam baiting a little bit just to see where it goes, because I watched some of the scam baiting videos. If anything interesting comes of it, you know, maybe I could make that into my own scam baiting video, but you know, the editing is a bit much. Like, I'd probably have to script it and then put the pictures in just to keep it all coherent. But that's only if like something funny happens. Anyway, so I was up late dealing with scam stuff and warning all my Facebook friends, because this one, like, super dodgy, and I can see some of the less tech people around me falling for it. But yeah, no. Maybe because I didn't sleep so well last night is why I'm struggling in here today. But Monday night, I slept better. And then Tuesday, I was actually doing all right. And since then, yeah, I've done a little bit better compared to how I was over the weekend. And so, you know, some of the stuff I talked about in that last video, like, it's still true, but as long as I can get enough sleep, it kind of doesn't matter. Like, I'm still fine. I can deal with things if I get sleep, and things don't bother me as much. Oh, the water is holding my phone up. Let me swap. Anyway. Is that okay? There we go. There's fun stuff in there. How many have we got now? There we go. 5. Oh, I need to just lay them out so it's easy to see. So we've got 7 big ones. We're going to make 3 more big ones, but we'll deal with these scraps. I might try and get the middle. So if I want to get the middle, because that's where all the juicy bits are, I'm just going to fold it in half first. Anyway, yeah, so blah, blah, trauma, blah, blah, but if I get enough sleep, so what? You know, it hasn't really changed anything about my life. There's probably some useful stuff, you know, in terms of trying to manage my life that I can learn from all that, but ultimately, I don't feel like it's changed very much. No, it's a bit of a puzzle trying to work myself out and trying to work out how to best manage my noggin. Oh, I also got this weirdo on Facebook just making some very odd comments. I ended up blocking them. I tried reporting them to Facebook because, you know, Facebook's had all these troubles with different things, and so you'd think they'd be on top of, you know, harassment, but no, they didn't do anything. They're like, oh, we'll get to it eventually. And so I just like deleted the comment, blocked the account, reported it, but for all the good that does. Yeah, just like some weirdos. They made a comment from a very obviously fake account. And at first, like, you know, I didn't think much of it because it wasn't like blatantly trying to troll me. But then the next one, they came back almost a day later on the same post to make a different comment, and that one was much more obviously like they'd photoshopped my face really badly with, you know, trying to add a beard or something and add some text and all this shit, and I'm just like, that's weird. That is an unhealthy level of obsession, you know, to troll someone. So I'm like, yeah, just get rid of that garbage. People are so weird. Yeah, I don't understand. I mean, you know, I guess I've got SPD, so of course I'm not going to understand this, but I don't understand being obsessed with a person, whether you are obsessed because you're really into them or whether you're obsessed because you hate them for some reason. You know, that's a lot of attention to be giving to someone else. It just seems weird and kind of pathetic. Right, we'll get another one of these little dudes. Oh, look at all this fun stuff. Unfortunately, most of these fun words are going to disappear, but we know that they're there in amongst my paper cranes. Fun little rant. Yeah. I can get pretty carried away with writing. Actually, one of the replies I left to someone on that last video, which they deleted their original, so you can't see it anymore. But that was kind of fun to write. It was quite a long one. And, you know, normally I'm not that like in your face, but I was just like, you know what, I don't have time for this. I'm going to try and scare away this person, because why not? You know, if I wanted to be a successful YouTuber, I shouldn't do that. But I don't care, so it's better for my sanity and also more fun if I'm just like, nah, go away. Be a little bit horrible to them. But I still make good points, like it's not attacking the person without reason. It's like, here's what you've said, here's why you're wrong, and here's why I don't have patience for it. But without, like sometimes when it happens, I'll try to reply in a more diplomatic way and be like, okay, that's your view, but here's what I think. But this one was like, no, you're wrong, bugger off. Well, not bugger off, but like, here's why you're wrong and why that makes you look like an idiot. What else have we got in here? Ooh, a little bit of pink on it. This is something I did at art school. I'm not sure what the highlighting is. Maybe it's to help me keep track of where I'm up to. Yeah, right. Well, another big one. I think this one I would have mentioned on Patreon like ages ago. It would have been back when I was doing like folders of goodies instead of, you know, using more of the actual Patreon platform. But yeah, that's quite an old artwork, and I think I've rolled it up and it's in storage somewhere. I don't think I have it here. No. It would be in storage in the roof somewhere, which is kind of a shame, but I don't know what else to do with it. Like, I could get them framed, but they didn't really turn out quite how I was hoping. So, yeah, is it worth it? Or do I just, like, leave it there and then, like, when I'm dead, someone will dig it up and be like, what's this all about then? And Patreon will know. Oh no, like, I should like have some way that people can log into my computer and stuff when I am dead, or like if something unexpectedly happens to me, because like there is a lot of stuff on there that I probably would like made public once I'm dead. You know, all the creative stuff that I've left behind. I think I probably would like that to just go out into the world. I've definitely got the strongest security on my devices out of everyone at home. I guess because I am a little bit more protective of my stuff, because it's like my mind, and I think that's a schizoid thing as well, because what is it, the phrasing they used about why schizoids do it is like, you don't want your ideas to be appropriated or something like that. Like, there's so much in it that I was just like, shit, that's me. And I think that explains why my security on, you know, I guess like my intellectual property on my computer is so high. Whereas like I know some of the passwords to get into, you know, the rest of the family's computers, because they needed me to do stuff on them. Like, I'm the one who fixes all the tech. So I can log into their stuff, but they can't log into mine. And that suits me quite well, because I don't want people seeing my stuff, at least while I'm alive. Because I think while I'm alive, I feel sensitive about it. But when I'm dead, I do think like, no, I'd like people to know that these were things that went through my head. Maybe like, because like I'm not going to have any kids, well past that point. And this comes back to some of, like when I was younger, worrying about, you know, what's the point of life and looking at different religions. One of the things that I was attracted to was ancient Egyptian ideas about death, where they put their name into rock so that it preserves it. And anytime someone reads it, speaks the name of whoever's dead, that kind of brings them back to life. And I think they probably thought that was like they actually come back to life in some kind of a way, or their life is sustained. From my perspective, it's more like the remembering is sort of like your legacy continuing. And so I was quite into that when I was younger. And maybe that's why, you know, I'm sort of like, yeah, these are the bits and pieces of me left behind. And so like maybe that's why I YouTube, because there'll be bits and pieces of me left behind. So because yeah, with the point of life, like some of it is, for some people at least, is legacy. For them, sometimes it's to do with having kids. That's like a biological legacy because your DNA continues on, and the way that you bring them up, it's an ongoing impact on the world. But I'm not going to have kids, got a lot of reasons for that. So for me, it's more like the things that I make. Maybe that's why I like social media, because I can just post whatever, my thoughts, and then they stick around for I don't know how long. That's an interesting question as well. How long is all this stuff going to stick around? I did, I think you can see it on my website, the project with the lanterns was a bit about that, like when you die, what happens to your social media, with kind of the conceptual blah blah. So I'm gonna do this one in half as well. Yeah, no, it's an interesting question because, like, you know, social media is so new, relatively speaking, that we don't really know how to deal with things about death. I know on Facebook they've got like a legacy mode, and I can't remember what year it is that there's probably going to be more dead people on Facebook than living people. You know, assuming Facebook survives. They keep managing to, you know, shoot themselves in the foot. And this whole meta thing is just garbage, but hey, whatever. Gotta let the rich man play with his toys. Actually, I'm gonna do it this way. It'd be nice to get the Mali on the wing, but I think that's going to get folded away, so we won't see a lot of it, unfortunately. So I'm going to go for these other words that are on the wing. Let me just check my battery again. Yep, we're still above 50%, so that's good. Cool. We can keep going. Hang on, what have I done there? Oh, that, Yeah, no, actually I'm happy with that. Just a bit hard to see the crease there. All right. Oh, the pink highlight is making my eyes go a bit, what? My thumb, yeah, is starting to get a bit sore, so I should try and tone back how I'm using that. And because I'm not in the space that I'm, you know, usually comfortable with live streaming, I know I'm using my voice a bit lower than I should. And there's a bit of vocal fry that keeps popping in there. So that's making my throat feel a bit like, what? Yeah, I've never live streamed here, so do feel a bit like, but it seems to be working okay, you know, the connection seems okay as far as I know. So I've got a bit of water on the table. Yeah, the way that I choose the tail, I usually go for the thinner part. But that's just my personal preference. I think once I get this next video edited, my video making life will get a bit less complicated. Just like I bought too much stuff all at the same time, and I still have Punk Rave Australia to do, but this is the last, you know, big thing I've bought that I want to show everyone. Then after that, I don't know, I can make other videos, or I mean, I've decided that day is a recording day, which doesn't necessarily mean I have to record video. I could record music related stuff too. Or I could do both and record a cover, which is one of the things on my to-do list. Like, I've had that for a while and just not really had the time to focus on it. So, yeah, once I get this out of the way, this next one I've been editing, maybe I can get back into making some covers, maybe try some more gaming related stuff. I don't know. Just feel a bit less stressed in a way, not having deadlines for myself, because, you know, when I buy something like it's current, I want to get it done. Like with Punk Rave Australia, I've got to try and get it back to them sooner rather than later. Of course, I never really know what's going to happen in my life, so whether it pans out that way. Yeah, I feel like, yeah, after this, things will settle down a bit and I can just figure out what I want to make videos about. I see some colored paper down here. What's that? Oh, classmates exhibition stuff. Alright, what's that? Oh wow, what's all this? Oh, wow, those were handouts. And they're all basically the same. Damn, that's a bit unfun. Alright, I'll put that aside. Ah! Look at it underneath all that. Alright, well, just grab whatever else. What Punk Rave? How many of these I want? Another 2. It's too bad I don't have a good sound setup for this, because folding the paper, it's just occurring to me that like this would do okay as weird ASMR stuff. You know, those kinds of sounds. I mean, folding and ripping. And of course, then I'd have to whisper, right? If it was ASMR. Oh, I didn't even check that long ago, I guess. Yeah, so stuff and things. So Monday, I've already talked about. Tuesday was doing a bit better. I had bonsai though, so that tired me out. Yeah, a lot of trees coming in for maintenance at the moment because in Sydney, April is a good season to do a lot of bonsai work, particularly with non-natives. Natives are slowing down, but every other tree pretty much, you know, you can work on. So we're getting a lot in for maintenance. Maybe I'm doing too much of this. But yeah, and then I'm always tired the day after bonsai. Today's Thursday, right? Yeah, so yesterday was Wednesday, and I just didn't do much at all. I napped to get a little bit extra sleep. Yeah, and then now it's today. Oh my god, my brain just imagined something crawling on the desk, like a little insect, but there's nothing there. It's just like stuck in the corner of your eye, hey. Sometimes though I do wonder if I'm like, maybe I'm just overthinking it. Like, you know, sometimes I do wonder if I'm imagining things more than I should, because like, when I'm trying to sleep, you know, like I'll just like randomly feel like I need to itch different parts or whatever, and I just don't know if like I'm legitimately feeling something on my skin that I need to itch, or if it's just like my brain doing weird stuff and pretending it needs itching when it actually doesn't. And it just made me think, you know, because schizoid is technically like on the schizophrenia spectrum, I was like, what if there are things like that and they're just so minor that I dismiss them? You know, what if I am, you know, what if my brain is thinking things are there when they're not? How would I really know as well? But it's probably just overthinking, you know. It's just like something that occurred to me. It's like, what if? Wouldn't it be interesting if? One way or another though, like it doesn't influence my life enough to be worth worrying about. It's just like one of those things. What if I'm struggling to sleep because my brain is imagining things that aren't there? And then, you know, I have to shuffle around and try and get comfy. Yeah, I think I'm a little bit tired today. Because I woke up around 4, I think, for no reason. Wasn't even Mikey this time, just woke up. And so that's why I wonder if maybe it's because I didn't have any Dimetap. Although, because I was tired yesterday and I spent half the day in bed, perhaps it isn't surprising that I didn't sleep well because I slept part of the day. That makes more sense, to be honest. See, sometimes it's hard to work out what's actually influencing things that I'm going through. Yeah, sleep is super important for mental health and just being healthy in general. So yeah, I think part of my problem is just not getting enough sleep. I know my sleep hygiene's probably not great. I should try to go to bed earlier. I should try to turn off devices earlier, mainly my computer. You know, maybe I should try to read more. That'd get me off the computer. It's just hard to find anything that I really want to read these days. you know, maybe my concentration span's been badly affected by the internet, especially my last depression. That's when I really started watching a lot of stuff online. Before that, I kind of didn't. So I've probably still got lasting concentration issues from that. But yeah, one thing, if I just try to go to bed earlier, that usually doesn't work because I just stay in bed tossing and turning and then feeling worse because I can't sleep. So yeah, it's probably all the other stuff I need to work on. It would be good if I could exercise more, but trying to convince myself to is difficult. Right. So I need one more big crane. What's this? Oh, that would have been from the 2019 state election when Labour lost the election, but people thought that they were going to win. Cool. So we'll turn that into a paper crane. And then I will have 10 big ones and I can string them together, and then I can be done with big ones and get back to making the little ones. The half-size ones. Yay! I'm getting a little bit hungry again though. I've already had my lunch. But I bought some shapes and stuff. Shapes that like biscuits, sort of. I don't know, what would you call shapes? I need an Aussie. Do you have shapes overseas? Or is that more of an Aussie thing? I got pizza shapes. So maybe I'll grab some of them. Have a nibble. But yeah, because usually I would get my rice paper rolls, but last time they didn't really fill me up enough, so I thought I'll get some extra nibblies. I also got some choc chip muesli bars, and they're just in my locker now. Oh no, maybe I should get more food, bring more food when I'm in the studio. Maybe as I settle in, it's getting easier to eat here because it's becoming more familiar. Maybe that's why I'm getting hungrier, I wonder. You know, could my appetite be that affected by the psychology of things? I suppose it's possible. Same song stuck in my head. Oh, Michael Daly. I remember him. The guy running state Labour now is much more convincing. Chris Minns. You know, if he can keep it up, he could stand a decent chance at the next New South Wales election. Especially with Perrottet being a bit of a dweeb. You know, I like that Chris Minns doesn't just poo-poo everything the government says, you know. He's not just trying to be against everything just because they're on the other side. Don't necessarily agree with everything he says, but I think his approach is much more palatable. Alright, so. Finally, I can make. So we've got that one. Bit tricky you, huh? Come on. Big ones are sometimes harder to open up because there's more paper. I don't know, I guess the relative thickness to how big the thing is. I'm sure there's like some physics explanation. Just don't like how that. Maybe also the way the ink is sitting on the. Where am I up to? Let me see. Alright, so I'm going to use red because it's a bit thicker. How much do I need? At least. I'm pretty excited for the next song that I'm writing. I'm liking how it's turning out. So yeah, that's going to be fun to work on tomorrow if I can just sit down and concentrate on it. It's quite different to how I thought it was going to be. Alright, now, let's see. Probably that's better on the bottom. I think he might be ever so slightly smaller though, so maybe I'll put him on the top. Best bet. I might just make the knot a little bit bigger so they won't go through. It's a problem with the really big ones. Oh, come on. Alright, I'll just hope that works. Oh yay, probably didn't even need the extra knot. God, I hope the wool is long enough. Hey! That's the biggest one that we need. Oh my god. That's a bit inconveniently big. I'll just pop him down here. Oh, come on. I don't really have anywhere good to put one that big. Just awkwardly. Alright. Actually, what time is it? Okay. You know what, I might actually just go and get those shapes because I am hungry. I'll be right back. I mean, it's only a tiny amount, but that's what I'm talking about, shapes. Just try not to get too much on my fingies. There's a lot less stuff on it than used to be. Alright, where was I? Oh, they are yummy though. I haven't had shapes in ages. Yum. It's just too bad they don't come in bigger sizes. You know, like it's a good kid size. I mean the packet. But although I suppose, I don't know, maybe as I get towards the end I'll feel a bit more full, because it's not like I have a particularly big stomach. It's more like my mouth being greedy rather than my stomach. That fold was a bit awkward, oh well. Yeah, it definitely wasn't concentrating too well on that one, but that's okay. We will make that the head. Yeah, so still going okay for battery. Just yeah, then thinking of walking down to some of the shops, get some more gloves for doing bonsai. I don't know, was there other stuff I needed? Try not to just like impulse buy art supplies, seeing as I've got so much stuff that I don't know what to do with. It sucks not being inspired though, because like I remember when I was younger I was definitely more inspired to do stuff, like creative stuff, and now I don't know. No wonder why that is. Like, is it just that I'm older and jaded? Or is it that, like, you know, I've tried so many things and I was like, maybe this next one will be the thing that helps, that fixes my life, and then it never does. Is that why I'm less creative? Or is it because you know, the weirder parts of my psychology are less relevant than they used to be, you know, like back when I was researching vampires and stuff. You know, is it because my brain's less interested in all kinds of weird things? Although that would possibly tie back to the search for something that would fix my life, because I think that, you know, the more fundamental reason for being interested in those things, perhaps. But also like the destroyer related things, a lot less important to me now. So maybe that's a reason that I feel less creative, feel like there's less push to just try and do something with the energy I had. I don't know, it could be a lot of reasons. I'm definitely not as physically fit as I used to be. And I don't think I'm capable of being, like, getting much of that back. Let's see. Now I can go for more half things. Oh, I got two at once. Whoopsie. Anyway, I don't want to go home too early. So, I mean, shopping is one extra excuse to stay out. I imagine traffic going home is not going to be too bad because, you know, everyone's, it seems like half of Sydney's already on holiday, you know, left the, left the city. Yeah, my life really has no purpose. There's no particular direction. Those are yummy though. It's very hard for me to work out what to do with myself when I've got like no inspiration really. It's just a constant series of trying to distract myself and trying to convince myself I'm being productive. Maybe. I don't know. What is my motivation to keep doing stuff? Oops. Ah! I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do didn't mean to do that. I'm sorry. Oh, just messing everything up. Goodness me. Just, yeah, trying to keep tabs on things. Alright. Okay. I'm sorry. Oh dear. My posture's terrible. But if I sit up too straight, then you can't see me in the camera. Does that matter? I don't know. Or I could like change the camera angle, but then you won't see even any of what's going on there, I guess. Dear, oh dear. I don't know, it would be so much easier if I had the tripod here, but alas. I was listening to a podcast today about space-based solar, and it made me think about Beyond Earth. I know I started a Beyond Earth game and I never actually finished it. I should probably go back to that at some point. Although I've been thinking, like, should I set up the live streaming, because that'll be easier for me to do those games and still be able to show you without feeling like it's this big chore. But yeah, they're talking about space-based solar. I'm just not sure what I think about that. Like they're saying, oh yeah, it's definitely safe, but they're going to beam microwaves down from these satellites. And the guy was like, yeah, it's non-ionizing radiation, so it's safe compared to, you know, like X-rays. I mean, cool, but like microwaves, I don't know, there's a reason that you don't put certain things in the microwave. I'm assuming that's the same kinds of microwaves they mean, like, unless I've misunderstood the terminology. I'm just like, if you beam down these microwaves of this solar energy from space and hit the wrong thing, what happens? They didn't discuss that. They're like, oh no, it's safe. They have these smart systems and they can work out all this stuff. And all right, okay. Should we trust that just yet? I don't know. And also, like, I get that you're trying to get around the intermittent issues of solar, but if we just be a little less scared of nuclear technology, you don't have to worry about sending these components to space and then hopefully beaming them down to the right spot on the Earth. And like, what's the efficiency of taking that solar energy, converting it into microwaves, and then on the ground converting it back into electricity? I don't know. I don't know what to think about it. Because like, I knew from the game Beyond Earth that it's civilizations beyond Earth. I knew, like, you know, that's a concept people have thought of. But as for one that's actually doable, I mean, it makes me think of, you know, they have those arrays of mirrors in the desert and then they reflect the sun back up to the tower. And they're like, yeah, we'll concentrate the solar rays and that'll give us, you know, we can boil the water to create the steam to run the turbines and generate more electricity that way. But it turns out not to be as good at its job as they thought. And like, it's not producing as much power as they thought. And then it's cooking birds that happen to fly in and get caught up in the wrong spot. And it's just like, are we sure that's not going to happen with, you know, space-based solar? I don't know, like all these attempts to just avoid having to go nuclear. I don't know, like I know there's problems with nuclear and the main one that's trickiest is maybe the cost. Because we figured out how to handle nuclear waste. Like we figured that out ages ago. So stuff to do with waste is more propaganda than reality. But cost is still an issue. But if you had enough nuclear going on, you know, economies of scale make a difference. It's like when solar started, it was expensive because there wasn't enough of it around. Now we make heaps of it, so the price has gone down. Quality varies, but, you know, so if we did the same thing with nuclear, we just got over the old Soviet fear. Because no one makes reactors like that anymore. People aren't that dumb. And there's natural radiation all over the place. I don't know. Like, do we really want to be beaming down energy from space? Because that's what that is, right? Oh, we're just beaming down solar in the form of microwaves. I mean, like, that's getting a little bit close to space lasers or something, right? And can you imagine, like, you know, America and Russia and China going, oh yeah, no, we're just putting up these space-based solar, but actually it's like, you know, a space-based death ray. Like we're getting to that point. You know, firing microwaves down from space. Okay, that's, I don't know, my brain's just thinking like, okay, yeah, but how do you weaponize that? Maybe it's not as easy as my brain's trying to convince myself, but it's just something to wonder about, you know, something you could write a story about. I've been a bit disappointed whenever I look at the so I listen to podcasts on the ABC, and one that I sometimes listen to is called All in the Mind. I think they do psychology stuff, but lately they haven't done anything that I've been that interested in. And I think the current one was about you know, if someone has one mental illness, they're more likely to have more mental illnesses, or more likely to develop other mental illnesses. And why is that? And I'm like, because your brain's malfunctioned, and because categorizations of mental illness aren't perfect. You know, it's very different to if you catch a virus, right? If you catch a virus, you have that virus, like physically that's what's going on. There might be a few different effects it has, but you have that virus. When it comes to mental health issues, there's nothing as clear cut as that to determine why you have that mental illness. So why is it a surprise that you could develop other ones? You know, it's weird shit going on in the brain. Why is it surprising that some people get more than one thing that you can diagnose? Especially because the brain, you know, it's not as easy to categorize what's going on in the brain. We have to do a lot of that work subjectively. For a lot of mental illnesses, there's not really an objective way to know for sure what someone's going through. So there's potential for illnesses to overlap. And mental illness is like the definitions we've given them to categorize them into different things. So I didn't listen to the podcast. Maybe they would have said something a little bit more interesting about why, you know, having one mental illness makes you more likely to have others. Maybe they have a better theory about it, but I was just like, yeah, I'm not interested in that. You know, to me it seems obvious. I don't want to waste half an hour on them talking about potentially the same thing. I don't know. So I listened to the Future Tense podcast instead, and that's where we got onto space-based solar. I also listened to CoronaCast. There's a bit of talk about what's going on in China. Because they're even more determined than Australia was to stay COVID zero. You know, we waited until we had like some decent vaccination going on and decent treatments. But China's just sort of, no, they're keeping closed. They say it's because they don't want their hospitals to be overwhelmed. Maybe health system might not be as good. Maybe that's a legit thing. I've also heard the arguments like, you know, it's a way that they can control the lives of the people more, you know, have an excuse to, because that's a legitimate thing in China that's done, you know, with the CCP being the way they are. Then there's like talk maybe the vaccinations that they have there aren't as good because they are different to Western vaccines. Maybe they haven't vaccinated as many people as they said they have. Maybe there's a lot of waning and not enough boosters going out. Like, there's so many theories on why China's going through what they are, and also why they're insisting on trying to stay COVID zero. I've seen a bit of that going through the media, not just on the CoronaCast podcast. It's kind of interesting though. And you know, the social repercussions, I guess, because like, yeah, on the one hand, a dictatorship could use COVID as an excuse to crack down on the population. But on the other hand, because it's now Shanghai and those big cities where people are wealthier, you know, people are starting to protest. And I just wonder, like, you know, is it a miscalculation if the reason is to control the population? Is that a bit of a miscalculation on the part of the government? Or is it just like, you know, their strategies maybe a legit thing, maybe they are trying to do the things they're saying to do, and it's just an unfortunate thing that's going on. And then you also wonder, like, will that have any effect on the CCP if people start to get angry at them. So far, it doesn't really seem like it. You know, it would really take something big in China to overthrow them. I wonder a bit if President Xi has maybe solidified too much power because there's not really a clear successor. If like something happened to him and he just fell over and died, who would take over? At least it doesn't seem from the outside like there's anyone. Maybe there is, and we just don't know. That's the problem with some of these strongman governments is, you know, the person who's in charge, they solidify so much power that it's like, okay, but eventually you're gonna die. Then what? There needs to be a plan. But if your successor is too strong, they might overthrow you early. Makes me think of, I think it's like CGP Grey or something talking about being in power and all that. It makes me think of all those complexities. But yeah, no. I don't know, it's hard for me to imagine wanting that much power. And this goes back to even my days when I used to write fiction, you know, RPGs and stuff. So I used to have a really OP character who was just like absolutely mentally ill, probably because I was and I just didn't realize it then. But this character, like, this is where the whole destroyer thing came from, was from this writing these stories. Like, this character just wanted to make a mess of everything, you know, blow things up and whatever. There was never any desire to take over the world, because then you have to, like, I don't know, run stuff. Is that fun? Is running stuff fun? Is, you know, sitting in an office trying to, like, you know, order people around to, I don't know, move money around, I don't know, it's not appealing to me. I get that, like, if you're unhappy with something in society, a bit of power can help you change what you think is wrong with the society. But do you need to run the entire thing? I don't know. Of course, I know those guys who do become dictators, like, I guess they like money and stuff, and I guess it makes them feel good to have power, but it just, I don't know, it feels like a pain in the ass. And maybe that's just my messed up way of seeing the world. Like, I can't be bothered to do anything, so who could be bothered to run the world? I don't know. Oh, fun. That was last year's Hello Scream audition. We had to do tapes because it was COVID lockdown, so we had to do like this audition with very set parameters. So that's what I've written there. Yeah, I still haven't decided if I want to audition for Hello Scream this year. I guess it'll depend a bit on like how they're going to do things. I've already seen like bits of promo coming out because it's their 10th one, so kind of a big deal. So maybe it would be fun to be part of that, but I don't know if I want to do the group audition thing again. And then, you know, maybe I want to work on my own performance stuff. Like the Hello Scream is a pretty cool event to be a part of, but I'm playing some other character. The first year was okay because, you know, it was like I had a lot of freedom to do stuff. Last year, though, I was pretty much in the same spot most of the time, and, you know, there was a bit less variety in what I could do with the character. And of course, yeah, with that mask on, it was definitely not me. So, yeah, whereas, you know, I'm getting into the music again, maybe I want to focus more on my music. Yeah. So I don't know, I'll see. Like, the auditions usually don't open until about September, so I'll see how I feel then and, like, how things are going to be done, what the world's like, what my life is like, because so much can change in such a short time. I really don't know what I'm going to be up to. Hopefully I'll find some more inspiration, because living life the way that I have been, it's so boring. You know, not having inspiration is a really boring way to live. So, I don't know, we'll see. It is hard work though. But it is fun to get paid to, you know, scream and chase at people. Alright. Better just check the time and my battery again. How many of these have I got? Oh, I can probably make another one of those. Okay, we've got another 10. So the sort of medium-sized ones. Let me just check though. 42%. Yeah, I can keep going for a bit longer. And also, yeah, cool. So, got some that I've done Sudokus. Yeah, these are much easier to open than the really big ones. Yeah, if I had a tripod, I could show you this stuff a lot more easily, but alas, just sort of slumming it with the teacup to lean it against. Some audition lyrics. What's this? Oh, the voice acting thing. That sort of came out last year, but I think it hasn't like released properly to the rest of the world, so yeah, I still haven't seen how much of my voice they actually ended up using. I think that'll be this year, probably Halloween. I'll find out what happened to my voice acting. That was a weird thing that happened though. I was actually looking for a band and then the guy's like, hey, you want to come do some voice acting for us? Alright, sure, why not? That would be a Punk Rave Australia one. Even has like fashion and musician written on there. That's kind of cool how that ended up in the middle of the crane. Now I'll probably do these in red as well because they're a bit bigger. Oh, I'm glad it's not as big as the other one. So that was really getting like crazy. I need to burp a little bit. Anyway, yeah, so I'm gonna make another 10 of these. If anyone has any ideas of how I might present these, you know, with the concept of like a personal history, yeah, because I haven't thought of how to hang them yet. So and also still trying to decide whether I do some knitting or... That one's pretty good actually. Let's start with this one. But yeah, whether I should do some more knitting or sewing or something. Like, what do I want to make? I don't really know anymore. And I've got these little books on how to make little pom-pom animals, which I used to do. And then just kind of lost interest. And I hate that. Like, I'm constantly losing interest in things. It's really hard for me to stay interested in anything. And, like, why? Why lose interest in stuff? Why do I keep getting so bored so easily? Like, I like the idea of doing things, but then it comes to actually doing them, and maybe that's where I run out of path. I don't know. I mean, I know, I get that, like, yeah, sure, it's normal to lose interest in stuff, but it's just frustrating. And there are other people who can do the same stuff over and over and over and over and over, and they make it into their career, and I just, for some reason, I can't. And it's frustrating as well because I'm good at quite a lot of things, or at least, at a, not, I might not be an expert at anything in particular because I don't spend enough time on anything, but I'm reasonably good at a lot of things that I do trying. And so, like, imagine if I could focus on something, like, I'd get heaps good, but I can't. But is that another thing? Is it because I'm not challenged by enough stuff? If it's too easy, is that why I'm losing interest? I know when I was doing maths, I did, like, the highest level of maths you could do in high school. And I remember when I was doing that, my teachers were, like, a bit confused because I'd get easy stuff wrong, but then nail the really hard problems. And I guess it's probably because the easy stuff, because it was so easy, my brain just wouldn't engage with it. It's like, then I'd make some careless mistake. Ta-da! Another. I'm running out of places to put them. Just put it there for the moment, I guess. But yeah, is it just because my brain's not challenged by things if too much is easy? Maybe that's why I got into drama in high school, because it was more difficult for me. And, like, music doesn't really come to me that naturally. Although, when I was playing violin, I think the teacher was like, oh, you're a natural, so, I don't know. But I think performance is more difficult for me compared to something like maths, so maybe that's why I did more of it. If we're going with the theory that my brain just keeps getting bored because things are too easy, but I don't really know if that's what's going on. That's the problem, is, like, I can come up with all these theories about how my mind works, but there's always exceptions, and it's really hard to pin down why I actually, like, why my brain is actually doing something. So anything I say about, my brain, it's just a theory. I don't really know for sure. And I don't think anyone would really be able to figure out for sure why things are a particular way. Maybe I wasn't imagining the bug because there was something that just flew past my face. When I thought there was a bug there earlier, maybe it was actually there. See, that another thing, I don't know, because bugs are like that. Oh, I'm talking so much I keep forgetting about my shapes. And it's funny how I'm managing to just mostly talk to myself. Sometimes when I live stream, there's a whole bunch of questions, and that's what gets me on tangents. But today it's just like, no, brain just going off in different directions. It's kind of making it a little bit easier to keep folding these, because, if I'm just listening to music, it's a bit of a distraction, but perhaps not enough. Whereas if I'm just rambling about stuff, I think that is distracting my brain, as long as I don't think about it too much. Maybe if I start thinking about what I'm doing, I will get bored. I am, like, gradually running out of time to keep going, though. And tonight, I'm probably going to do... Oh, no, tonight I've got a post about the things that I've done that I need to show Patreon. And then hopefully that won't take too long, and then maybe I can get on to editing the next video I want to show you guys. And tomorrow, hopefully I'll make some music, and then I've got to make another Patreon post, because I'm trying to use Patreon to make sure I stay on board with the things I need to do. So it might be not until Saturday that I get editing. Dear, oh dear. Can hear leaf blowers in the distance. Very relaxing. Oh gosh, hello. Is that a super chat? How do I look at super chats on... Huh? I sure know, but I speak to kids always with that same problem and help a lot of them through that issue since I've had that problem for years. Wait, which problem? I didn't see when it actually popped up, so because I've sort of just been rambling to myself. But thank you. Thank you for dropping in as well. Same problem. Huh. I don't know. Yeah, it's very easy for me to just come up with theories about what I think. I don't know. I think, like, I really think sleep is a big issue for me. If I sleep well, then it doesn't really matter what's going on. I can do well. Then I have these random days where I wake up and I'll be like super productive. And I always try to make the most of them because I know like the next day I'm probably gonna be like super sad or I don't know. But like I also wonder, okay, on those days where I wake up and I feel super productive, is that like by trying to make the most of it, am I using up too much energy? And is that why I feel bad the next day? Or am I going to feel bad the next day no matter what? And since I don't know which it is, if I do have a super productive feeling day, I will make the most of it because I can't tell what I'm going to be like the next day. That's something that makes it really hard for me to manage my life is I don't know how I'm going to wake up tomorrow, what mood I'm going to be in, how much sleep I'm going to get in. And yeah, I don't know, it's just like, I can't predict what my state of mind is going to be like. And I don't know for sure what the different factors are. Sometimes, since my last depression, like the big one that I had from 2015 to, start of 2018, since then, it's also been hard for me to tell the difference between being depressed or having like, being low mood, and having a physical illness. Because there are physical things that go along with depression. And if I don't have a sore throat or a cough, it's hard for me to tell the difference between being actually sick and, just being in a crap mood. And so sometimes I'll be in a crap mood and not know why, but then it turns out actually I was sick. Uh-oh, my connection's starting to get a bit dodgy. Is that a sign that I've got to wrap up soon? 38%. I can still go with battery. It's just, is the phone heating up? Sometimes I wonder if that's an issue. It is a little bit warm, but not too bad. Anyway. Yeah. Where am I up to? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 9. Not quite enough. Yeah, on those days where I am super productive, thinking about those days is a little bit sad because, like, imagine if I always felt like that. How much I could get done. Unfortunately, that's just not how my life is. Another thing, I know not everyone, like, people who are mentally healthy, I don't, like, they're not just running around having a great day every day. But I'm sure they have more energy more consistently than I do. And the other annoying thing about not knowing how I'm going to be day to day is that, it makes it harder to plan things where I'm going to need that extra energy. Like I've been thinking, should I go to the shops on the weekend because there are some things I need? Although there's like one of my local shops I could get one thing I need, but I was thinking of doing a bigger outing to like a shopping center, but I can't think of enough reasons to go. And if I don't have like something specific to look for, it's like, what's the point? just to get out of the house. You know, can I be bothered? Do I have the energy for it? If I had a lot of energy that day, sure, maybe I would go and window shop. I don't know. And I'm sure when I was younger, I had more things that I wanted to do. Actually, so something that's weird about how this chat is working is I have to, okay. Oh wow, I've missed like heaps of chats because I can see on the timestamps I've been missing heaps of chats because it wasn't showing me. So crap. When you get enough subs, oh, thanks phone. So it turns out I've been missing heaps of chats. Like I've been checking and it hasn't been coming up. Damn, okay. So I only saw the first 2 comments. Hello there. I should have said General Kenobi and what are you making for? So what time is it? Oh, that's really disappointing because we could have been chatting some more. When you get enough subs, would you do YouTube full time? I guess that would be nice, but I'd probably still do my bonsai job because it gets me out of the house. How many cranes have you made during the stream? I have not been counting. Rules for chat? How many cranes in a flock? How many flocks in a crane? The crane man. Hello, I make paper origami crane too. They're good luck. Keep up the good work. 2,000 paper cranes. Hey, this is cozy as fuck. Nice. So, yeah. Been doing voice acting type stuff since I was a kid. More cartoon, anime voice stuff. Okay, yeah. No. Yeah, as a hobby. That's how it happened for me. And then I had to talk to the tax office about how that worked. Because like, yeah, I got paid a decent amount for the voice acting I did do. And I was like, what? I mean, like, I don't have an ABN because I'm not a business. Anyway, Crane Man is watching. I can tell you where maybe. Oh yeah, see, I've missed when all this stuff. Anhedonia spikes, and then associating such moments to activity is often the case. Anhedonia spikes. Yeah, so sort of like conditioning you to feel like that. Does that? Oh no, they're different sizes. Okay, because I already used up the other ones. I'm really sorry I didn't catch all these while they were happening. That's why, like, I prefer live streaming on the computer because it's just like easier to control. But the phone just didn't update all this stuff. Hey. And so yeah, super chat does come up in the main chat. It's just that my chat wasn't working, so I had to switch to super chats only. So hey, that got my attention. Thank you for doing that because I wouldn't have known that all these chats were going on. Boredom thing. Okay, so problem with boredom. Right. Anhedonia and abolition is a son of a bitch. You're doing it right. The part where you are doing as much as you can while you can deal with dysthymia, so I'm always low-grade depression. Yeah, I think a lot of the time I just feel like nothing in particular, and maybe empty and that. You know, like if I'm doing okay, that's not much of a problem, but if it goes on when I'm not doing so well, I think that's harder to deal with, or it becomes the void. What? Yeah, I don't know. Just like everything is harder if I haven't got enough sleep or if I'm in a bad mood for some reason. I've said before, like when it comes to topics like suicide, my brain can think about that like all the time. The only time it bothers me is when I'm already like not doing well, maybe because I didn't sleep or some other reason. Otherwise I can think about it in like logical terms, if you can call it that. And yeah, not such a problem. Now I'm really annoyed now with YouTube not showing me all those comments because I was checking when I was checking my battery which is still going okay. But yeah, I'm annoyed it didn't show me all the chats, but what can you do, hey? But it's funny that I was able to talk so long just like to myself essentially because I couldn't see any of the chats going on. The other thing that's annoying is the chats disappear from the screen. So I don't know if there's like some kind of YouTube setting because like when I used to stream on my old phone, I knew how that worked. I wonder actually, is that a setting thing? No. What's this? Oh, those are funny effects. Yeah, see, the bubbles. Oh dear. Yeah, no, I don't know if there's a way to make sure the chat just like stays on the screen instead of disappearing, so I have to constantly keep poking it to see what's going on. When I'm on the computer, at least I can see them all there, just on the screen. And even when I was using OBS, I just moved it to the side. I think there's a way in OBS to get the chat to appear on the screen as well, so that like if something happens, then people can see it on the replay without needing the extra chat window. But I haven't got around to, really looking into that. But yeah, I've been thinking of using computer software a little bit more to, jazz up the live streams instead of just going straight from the camera. Because then I can show stuff. Like I think last stream I was able to show a picture someone sent me. So I could do more of that. I've also sort of been looking into Streamlabs. I'm not entirely sure how that works because I'm a bit reluctant to give any company access to like whatever they need in my YouTube account. Like I don't want to use my YouTube account to log into the thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Hey, got another set. But yeah, no, I've been thinking about how to live stream better, and I've got to say, the phone is not impressing me, after what it just did, not showing me anything. Although like it's got a separate, so it shows me how many people are watching, how many likes it has, and then it has a separate one for super chat. And so when that popped up, I was like, oh hello. But yeah, no, so I don't know how much I'll stream here. I mean, when it's quiet here, I probably could, but I don't know how often. I think it's only quiet here because of Easter. Probably everyone's gone on holiday, so I don't think there'll be too many people in here today. But most of the time when I'm in the studio, there's other people like in and out all day, and it's, yeah. So yeah, I probably should just stream from home, and then I can do, hey look, there's one with my name on it. Hey! Yeah. Oh, see, look, it's not updating. I have to like actually scroll to see more comments. So let me catch up. My server, if you use Discord. I don't use Discord. There was ages ago, I went to like a job interview where they were trying to like manufacture a YouTuber or something, and so they were trying to find someone to pay a yearly salary to do their YouTube channel. And so they had me on their Discord for a bit. They didn't give me the job. They gave some other guy the job, and like it was supposed to be, they're game developers, and so they were trying to manufacture a YouTuber to promote their game. But when I actually saw how their channel played out, instead of the guy they hired acting like a gamer, he was acting like a game developer and talking all that nerdy stuff. And I'm just like, no one is going to watch this. And eventually they gave up on that. But while I was in the interview process, they did have me on their Discord, and I just don't understand how Discord works. Like maybe I didn't go deep enough, but it just seemed to be this series of comments that just went up and up and up, and I could look way back to earlier in their Discord life or whatever, and I'm just like, how is this so popular? Like I understand Facebook, you can have groups and you can, categorize little conversations. You've got your main conversation and then all the replies, and so things are sort of more neatly packaged together as in like topics or something. But but yeah, I didn't understand Discord. Maybe that's just because I didn't go far in it, but it was kind of a weird thing. So I find it weird that it's so popular. First community of schizoids ever from where? Yeah. Oh yeah, see, I'm not heaps keen on communities either. I think, like, I've already mentioned this before. And then also, like, I'm not interested enough in schizoid to get that deep. Like, it's just one thing about me. And so I think I said, like, way at the beginning of the stream when there's like no one watching, I was saying, like, it does feel a bit uncomfortable that I've suddenly got all these people who are really only following me for my disorder. My catchphrase that I have in my head now is like, I'd rather people follow me for my chaos than my disorder. Yeah, like, the disorder is just one thing about me, and the way that I experience it is not necessarily the same as everyone else. And then communities, like, I've just not had good experiences with communities. And because I'm not that interested in schizoid, like, I can talk about my experience, but I kind of don't care about other people's experience, except before my diagnosis, when I was like, is this me? And so I watched a few videos and I was like, yeah, okay, that sounds like something I'm going through too. Once I got the diagnosis, I'm like, I kind of don't really care how other people are dealing with stuff. And then some of my schizoid videos get some comments that I'm just like, I don't know. I don't know. I guess I don't know for sure if that people are actually schizoid or what, but I'm like, maybe the social problems are kind of obvious in the way some people write as well. I don't know. I'm just not a communities person. Flat internal world stuff. And you're not dolo? I'm not sure what that means. I thought I was at one point over here, so managed together. Oh. So like so I guess like you felt lonely because you thought no one else was the same as you or had the same disorder, or yeah, I don't really experience that. When I was younger, if it was loneliness, it was different reasons. I have no real desire to connect with people who have the same disorder as me. Yeah, I just don't feel lonely in that sense. Can do all that in Discord. Okay, I guess I just didn't get into things. Cars for people who don't want to drive cars. I don't want to drive cars, but sometimes I have to get places. Now, don't get me wrong, none of us had good experience in communities. What's this arrow? That's why it's a paradox. Well, like, in some of the stuff that they talk about, I think like with the covert schizoid, there was like this. I think this is the Wikipedia article that I'm thinking of. There was a thing like, on the one hand, they'll seem really cold and detached, but on the other hand, with the more covert sort of thing, they might be actually like super sensitive and wanting to connect with people. I think perhaps that just reflects, the surprising diversity of schizoid. Like, there's only 9 criteria, I think, in the DSM that you have to, that count for SPD, and you only have to get 4 to get the diagnosis. So, one person could have, one set of 4 of the schizoid criteria, and someone could have the complete opposite set of 4, and then you'd have 1 left over. Like, there's a lot of room for diversity, even with those criteria. And then when we're talking about covert and how different people experience stuff, I think there probably is a subset of schizoid people who do want more social connection than is, stereotypical. And when you consider the internet and its capacity to bring people together. Oh, hello. Total misunderstanding. We're not learning because disorder, but surrounding by humans that we can't connect for cognitive non-pit. Well, see, I guess it depends, because some people do feel lonely because, they think they're the only one. when I started my YouTube, like one of the most surprising things, I was only talking about depression back then, but one of the most surprising things for me is I would talk about being depressed and then get people saying, oh, I thought I was the only person who felt like this. This is more than 10 years ago. So like even depression, you know, probably didn't have as high profile as it does now. We're still raising awareness for, you know, regular mental illness. You'd think by now there's enough awareness, but maybe not. So I'm just gonna keep playing with my screen because oh, I am starting to get a little bit low on battery, so I'll have to go in a bit. But yeah, no, so I think based on those people who were like, oh, I thought I was the only person who felt like this when I described depression, I think there probably are some schizoids who, you know, they think they're the only one, and that does form a basis for loneliness. I think for us to say just because we don't feel that way that no one else does, I think that would be a bit much. Like, you know, having the disorder doesn't necessarily mean we can speak for everyone who has the disorder. I feel very strongly about that because, you know, I've grown up around a lot of disability, right? And so, you know, when autism became a big thing with, you know, high functioning autism, that was a bit of a shock for me because I had only seen severe autism. Like I've been around those kinds of kids. And to suddenly have these people with very mild autism saying a bunch of stuff and me knowing that that's not how life actually was for some of these kids that I grew up around, you know, I think we have to be careful. Just because we have a disorder doesn't mean we know what it's like for everyone else. So I would say there's probably some people with schizoid who are lonely because they think no one else has the same disorder. But at the same time, yeah, I get that. You know, there's humans that we can't connect to. That would be an issue for some people. Might have been more of an issue for me when I was younger and perhaps more overtly schizoid, just without knowing what to call it. I'm getting a bit cold in here. But yeah, like I don't know, I don't feel lonely in any way that makes me want to connect to people with schizoid. You know, like yeah, maybe because I've got the rest of my social media over the years. You know, I've got some regulars on YouTube who've been following me for a long time. I've got all my guys on Patreon. Some have been following me for a long time as well. And I like that it's not just all people who are the same as me, I guess. You know, with that one disorder, like we have other things in common. Existence-based existential isolation due to cognitive preoccupation, not interpersonal. It's not the disorder. It's okay, nice. Like people are lonely because of the existential thing. Maybe it's hard for me to understand because it's not something I experience. I suppose that's a possibility because there's a few things like that. And I think that's something that's easy for a lot of us to do is if we don't experience something, it's harder to understand. And so we might be inclined to dismiss it as a possibility. But actually it's a thing some people go through. Maybe that's why I can't understand, you know, schizoids wanting community. Yeah. Like to some extent, I can understand why people form communities. That's probably why I've tried in the past. You know, I tried one of the asexuality communities for a while. Plenty of things wrong with that, oh my god. But yeah, no, anytime I've been in one, it just gives me the shits. Like I've seen, I think on Reddit there's some schizoid, do they call them subreddits? Or I'm not familiar with Reddit. And I had a look in there and it's all the same people. And there was like one person in particular who just writes these walls of text, very technical looking. And I just like glaze over and have no time for it. Conceptual validation, not interpersonal, it's weird. I just want to do something. Okay, conceptual validation. yeah, I don't know. Yeah. If you were talking about like the live streaming together thing, it's really hard for me to plan when I'm going to be going live at the moment because, like, you know, I'm working around people's plans. I didn't even know I would be live streaming today because I didn't know whether there'd be people in and out today. So yeah, my life's a little bit too chaotic to plan anything with people just to talk. Oh, okay. Well, I mean, like, I try to respond to, you know, like messages and stuff on other platforms or like email. Depends on like how much energy I have. Just to discuss topic and their ideas. Yeah, like, you know, we can chat a little bit on some other platform. Just, yeah, I can, because I'm not particularly interested in Schizoid, there's a risk of me getting bored and just like disengaging. You know, I can talk about it sometimes when I'm just talking about me on camera, but you know, I've got other things to think about in my life, and I don't know, it's just not particularly interesting. Yeah, well, yeah, I am running low on battery, so I need enough to like, you know, be able to look up the bus to get home. And oh, actually, I was going to do some shopping first. What time is it? Okay, I've still got time to go shopping, and then I can figure out how to get home. But yeah, so I think I'll make this the last paper crane. Well done me, like still making cranes throughout the live stream. There's a lot. Make that the head. And then I've got to pack up, I've got to wash up some paint. No, thanks for turning up, and thanks for the super chats, because I would have totally not realized that people were actually sending me messages if you hadn't done that. So yeah, now I know that my phone has an issue with showing chat. So I can think about, I mean, today I only live streamed from here just because I was like, there's not people being distracting or making me feel overly insecure. So yeah, but I think normally I wouldn't be able to live stream here. So maybe I won't need the phone, but it does help me in terms of like at home. Sometimes I feel like live streaming outside my room, in which case I would have to use my phone. But now that I know the phone has a problem, I think I'll stick to live streaming on the computer, because then I can see the chat definitely there. And then thinking about the different things that I can show, like if someone is, you know, last live stream, I think one of my friends sent me something through Facebook Messenger, and then I was able to copy that and show it on my screen because I'm, you know, trying to get better at OBS. Or if I use Streamlabs, maybe that'll be easier. So yeah, there's a lot going for the computer-based live streaming solution. And so yeah, that's kind of helped me figure that out. So that's something else to think about. Not something I thought I would solve on today's stream. But yeah, so I guess I'm gonna wrap up because I finished that last crane, and I've got to finish my shapes and clean up my paint, and yeah, then lock everything up, maybe do some shopping quickly because there's a shop nearby that I could get some stuff at, and then I've got to get home. So yeah, what's happening? So Patreon guys can expect a post tonight with some of the art stuff, just a short one because I didn't do a whole lot besides the paper cranes. Hopefully over the weekend I'll edit that video because there's some fun stuff I want to show. You know, another unboxing that's actually like pretty cool. I'm still waiting for Punk Rave Australia to, you know, let me release the other video. I hope that'll come soon because I really like some of the pictures that go with that. I really want to post my Instagram picture. On Instagram, some photos have come out from Eternity Showcase. That's the performance I recently did. I'll try and get some on Facebook as well. We're also waiting for video of that. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to post that on YouTube, but if I can, I will. And I think that's pretty much everything that's happening at the moment. And then yeah, once I finish that next unboxing, things should get a little bit more chill, so I can decide what I want to make videos of in a more relaxed way instead of all these sort of semi-structured videos. So thanks guys for
tuning in and watching, and I'm sorry I didn't reply to heaps of chats when they were happening, but now we know my phone cannot be trusted. You know, the app, the YouTube app, for some reason just doesn't handle chat very well. So yeah, I'll see you guys whenever. And I'm sorry I'm not a proper YouTube, so I can't really plan these things. I guess to answer that earlier question, like, you know, if I got enough subs, would I do YouTube full time? I think some of that would depend on whether or not I had the space to film in more regularly and reliably and not have to be like trying to squeeze filming time in and squeeze live streaming time into the things that I do. So it's not just a matter of subs, or it's not just a matter of like, I don't know, ad revenue, or, you know, it's practical things like when can I actually film stuff. So yeah, I'll try. I'm trying to get better at some of this stuff, because it would be fun if I could just do YouTube and maybe bonsai for a day. But there's a lot of things to work out, so we'll see how that goes. Anyway, thanks for hanging out with me making my paper cranes. That actually helps things go a little bit easier, just getting stuff done. And I'll see you when I see you. And I think I pressed this to end the stream. Yeah, okay, I'll see you later, guys.